Fourth and final day of the PGL Antwerp Major Challenger stage. Today we get to decide the final three teams that are going to be moving on to the Legend stage. Some excellent matchups here. Some hearts still yet to be broken, which is a scary prospect. Welcome back to the HLTV recap show presented by GGBet. Let's take a look at the schedule for today so you guys know all the matches you have coming up that we're going to be breaking down for you. I'm going to be guiding you through all this action. The headline matchup is first. It's Astralis taking on Liquid. Usually you get some kind of a warm-up. Not today. Bad News Eagles and the Cinderella story are trying to be prolonged or ended against MIBR, and Imperial trying to waltz their way into the next stage of the major. It's Last Chance Saloon out in Antwerp. Let's get after it. First match, Team Liquid Astralis, one of the most storied franchise rivalries in Counter-Strike. They'll meet another time here, not for glory, not for trophies, but to avoid a far too early elimination. One of the new faces delivering for Astralis, BlameF, is light years above the rest of the team at this event. Xyp9x still struggling to find his place within this roster, and they need the clutch minister today. Xyp9x and Shox have been top 16 at each and every major to date. That record ends for one of these guys today's. You could see OC there, one of the next-gen oppers coming out of the North American region. He's been playing pretty solid for Team Liquid as well. Look, it's a quick start in the opening map for Team Liquid. They were shaky during the group stage. Even the wins didn't exactly look clean, but there was no shakiness to begin Vertigo as Liquid gets out to a 7-1 start. It's on the T side as well. This is supposed to be the major of the CT meta, but Liquid completely broke that today. Astralis could do nothing to stop them. Liquid pummeled the B-bomb site early, then they switched sides. The only one who could do anything to slow them down was, of course, BlameF. As I mentioned, it's an incredible tournament from him, and here on Vertigo alone, he would put up an astounding 40 frags. But this series was won on clutches. Both teams won their share, but on round 30 with the map on the line, NAF wins a 1v2 and takes us to Ancient. It's Astralis' map pick, and Liquid would say after the series that they love the Danes took it here. They win the series 2-0, but not without struggle. Astralis, as we know, is a tough team to put away. Glaive had 25, BlameF and Config with 22 frags each in losing efforts. And again, clutches won the day one more time on this map, and nobody was more clutch on this map than the man who came back into the Team Liquid roster, Nitro. He won 4 clutches, 3 of them in the second half during an 8-2 run that would book Team Liquid a spot in the Legend stage. Look at him here. He's just come back to the game. He's already back competing at a major, and he's already back winning big-time clutches and huge moments to propel his team forward. Liquid won their battle versus history today. This would have been the first major ever without North American representation in the top 16. They avoid that fate, and they continue to be the kings of a beleaguered region. NAF had a great series, 50 and 40 for him, 1.21 rating, but BlameF, man, what a heartbreaking way, what a heartbreaking effort to get knocked out of the major. That's got to be brutal. But you'll love this quote from Nitro. I'm not scared of the word Astralis. I was scared of the players. Now I'm not scared at all. A little bit of bravado coming out of North America. Bad News Eagles taking MIBR was our second matchup of the day. Both of these teams still trying to establish some presence, some force within their regions. Look at the way Bad News Eagles has come up, playing FPL and LAN centers, Orgless, very small support from local companies. They had a boot camp house dedicated or given to them by fans simply so they could play with each other and prepare for the RMR and for the major. This is a story that it really reminds me of the Brazilian scene coming up just years ago, banding together as a region to give their players and give their teams some resources to try and make this work. And in this matchup between Brazil and Kosovo, real recognize real. This series began with a bang, so I'm going to let Ragan and the casters introduce you to the series.
He's going to have an opportunity here. Just 4 back to turn and immediately dispatches of the bomb. Garrier, Rigon popping off round 1.
It would get better for Bad News Eagles off to an 8-0 start, but then it got worse. It got way worse. Things started to slip. The energy started to fade on Nuke as MIBR chipped away at the lead. A strong CT side of their own, and MIBR came all the way back from 4-11 to take the opening map 16-13. Turtle continues to play well. He had 25 frags. Cello had 23. Joda had 22. But really, this was the only bright spot in the series for MIBR. It was all Bad News Eagles from there. 16-8 win on Ancient for Bad News Eagles. The closest it got was tied at 3-3. Synopsy was a beast. With 124 ADR and 26 kills. They would close out this series, this map, with ease. And I mean, you can just see here, Turtle putting up some kind of an effort, doing everything he can to keep his team inside of the game. But man, the MAC-10s, the high pace, the FPL action coming out of Bad News Eagles was too much to handle. They have a really uncanny way of swapping between FPL individual style and then a little bit more structured team style. Vertigo was the deciding map, but MIBR was spent. They had nothing left in the tank after the nuke comeback. Cello did his best with a 26 frag hard carry attempt, but Bad News Eagles completed the Cinderella run and found a place in the Legends stage. Look at this clutch. Absolutely magnificent down the stretch, and MIBR could do nothing to get back into it. We knew emotions were going to be running high, and what a well-deserved celebration for the Bad News Eagles. Reigen and Cello, the two top performers going head-to-head in this series. Reigen was just such a consistent monster all the way through the series, 75 and 58, beautiful stuff. Well, we had history in the first game of the day. We've got history in the last game of the day. Imperial, Fallen's Last Dance project, Fur and FNX joining them. That old core goes way back to the first days of the Brazilian scene even being established in Counter-Strike. They have a tough task against them, but you can see these three players together have won 2 majors, a massive amount of top finishes at Tier 1 events as well. Even just look at FNX. He's taken a huge break, but back in 2016, he was a beast. He was the 19th best player according to HLTV's top 20 list. A huge clutch player, very diverse. He would need all of that old school talent and power to bring Imperial to the next stage of the major. The meme around him is that he's won 100% of the majors he's played in, but memes have a strange habit of becoming a reality. And at least today, it looked good. This series was a complete wipeout. Remember, forZe almost made it through to the Legend stage 3-0. They played Vitality in the 2-0 game, but now they find themselves in this deciding matchup without a chance at all. Imperial wins this series 2-0, and they win both maps 16-5. I'm gonna say it again, 16-5. Dominance out of the Brazilians. forZe never even had a chance, and how could you when the entire team of Imperial showed up today with their A game? Who else to lead them but Fallen? Back-to-back days of throwback performances from the Professor, the Bad Librarian, the man with 1,000 nicknames. It was a 10-0 run on the final map of Mirage for Imperial, and they too will be playing again this weekend with the big boys in the Legends stage where these legends belong. Fallen rotating over. He was so dynamic today. This is some vintage Brazilian Counter-Strike, and yeah, it's against forZe. It's going to be a tougher task into the next stage, but this was no small feat for them to be this dominant when everything was on the line. Look at these two, Fallen and Vidi leading the way for their teams. Fallen was absolutely incredible, 1.6 rating in this series. It's almost unimaginable. Jerry from forZe had some words after the game.
Yeah, guys, sorry for that performance, especially from the team and from me especially. I couldn't find my own game, and I think we are just a new team. We came up together for just the half of the year, and we came up a little that high. And I think we will try to train even more to prove that we are not just a fluke, and the next Terramar event or next major we will just show that we are capable of to be in the Legends or even maybe in playoffs of the major.
We've reached the end of the Challenger stage. It's been an absolute pleasure watching all of this Counter-Strike, especially because we know it's only going to get better. The Legend stage begins on Saturday. Everyone gets a breather, everyone gets a day off, and we get to relax. But let's check out the top 5 performers from the Challenger stage. BlameF, as you can see, the #2 player on this list, the only one not to make it through to the Legend stage. That's got to be crushing. But Degster, the real revelation, absolutely magical. These are the matchups we're going to be seeing on day 1 of the Legend stage. Obviously, the big ones, FaZe versus ENCE, Na'Vi versus G2 are the spiciest matches, of plenty of good Counter-Strike to be played on day 1 across the entire day. And now a quick word from our sponsor, GGBet. Use code HLTV for first bet insurance and an extra percentage on deposits depending on how close we are to the major final. More information is available in the YouTube description. Please gamble responsibly. That's our final show of the Challenger stage. We're going to enjoy our day off. We hope you do as well. Make sure you're well rested, set your alarms, come in hot on Saturday ready to watch some special Counter-Strike because it's going to be absolutely incredible. We'll see you there.
Esports is what we live and breathe. For us, it's more than a game. It's a reality, where a group of letters can mean everything. Where Mirage is a place for bombs, battles, and glory, not an illusion. Where the true heroes are those in front of the screen. GGBet. This is real.